Okay, I wanted to also address one thing that you talked about a little bit, and that was your disappointment at so few people being in Jackson this afternoon. I'm speaking for myself, but I don't think I'm unique. And I think that I agree that Mark Schauer is not responsive. I do think he has 20-something-year-olds in his office that take phone calls if you happen to get through and respond in the correct way, but I think he's not going to be responsive to his constituents because he owes the party and the administration. He doesn't owe his constituents anything. And unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit calloused where I think that there are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle that operate in Washington, D.C. in the same manner. I know you're not. I've had the opportunity to get to know you, and I know that's not how you are. I have 3 questions. 1, how are we going to pick candidates to vote for without having the opportunity to get to know them? Because everyone can make a promise, and most can make it sound sincere. Most of us don't have the time to check voting records. We need a way that we can be confident that our vote is going to count and that we're not wasting it on somebody that is promising us the moon and then they're going to deliver a sack of coal. My second question is, how in the world are we going to turn this around if we don't prevail? I think people who are conservative, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, makes no difference to me. But people who are conservative in their beliefs and their hopes and wishes for this country, I believe that they're the quiet ones. They're the ones that expect people to do what's right. They don't get out and yell about it, and they go to the polls and they try to do what's right. How are we going to gather those people up so that the country understands, besides the polls, which may or may not be right, and they're only a flash in time anyway, how are we going to gather those people up and convince them, the 82% that don't watch Fox News 24 hours a day, that this is important, that we should go to Jackson. And the last thing I want to say is, please don't get discouraged, because I know in my heart that there are more of us than you're seeing on the streets when you go to rallies and tea parties. I know a lot of people who have never attended a tea party and who have never gone to a rally in front of a congressman's office that isn't doing what we want them to do. And they feel the same way I do. And they go to the polls. And I hope that we will prevail, but I'll do what I need to do to make sure that happens. We just need some guidance. We need somebody to tell us when it's time to do it. We have to make sure we prioritize between our jobs and our part-time jobs on top of our jobs and our families, and try to squeeze in some time for dogs or whatever our passion is.
Well, I think, let me answer the last question first. The only way we will prevail is making sacrifice. And that doesn't mean that everybody has to go to a rally or everybody has to write a letter, but there has to be something done. I've told people after the last election, we lost by 2 points. We did 10,000 votes better outcome than John McCain in this district. That's unheard of. Normally the top of the ticket carries lower down on the ticket. Didn't happen, but we still lost. And I said, people spoke. So I said, well, I didn't. I said, did you bring 7 other people to the polls to vote the same way you would vote? Well, no. I said, well, that's one area you could have done better in.